Hello and welcome to Culture Shocked, the pop culture podcast brought to you by four aging millennials and our outdated opinions. I'm your host, Adrian, and with me as always is...
Nah, come on, man. Some straight like you, giant stick up his ass, all of a sudden at age, 60? He's just gonna break bad? Hi, I'm Doug.
I mean, it's the constant. It's the cycle. It's solution, disillusion. Just over and over and over. It is growth, then decay, then transformation. It is fascinating, really. I'm Corey.
The soul? There's nothing but chemistry here. And I'm Mike.
And if you didn't gather from our little intro segments there, today we are talking about one of, if not the greatest show of all time, Breaking Bad. And like I mentioned, I am the host this week, which of course means we're done when I say we're done. So, like I mentioned, today we are taking our first foray into the Gilliverse of Madness. That's a thing, right?
It is now.
It is now. We're going to be talking about Vince Gilligan's masterpiece of art, Breaking Bad. And the way we wanted to break this up is we kind of want to take a deeper dive season by season because we can't do a 6-hour episode of Breaking Bad.
We could.
I mean, I wanted to, but you guys were against it.
You guys were against it.
Nobody's going to listen to 6 hours straight, but they'll listen to 5 episodes.
That's for our Patreon.
That isn't set up yet.
Yeah, that we don't have.
Yeah, totally give us money there.
I suppose if everybody listened to our second episode ever, which was just our general TV talk, everybody knows that we are all pretty high on this show. Damn it, these are just coming organically. I'm not trying this.
pretty high. I'm pretty sure it was everybody's number one show in this fucking podcast.
Well, no, if you remember, we all had Home Improvement just above it.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
I
Corey
don't get it.
blindsided us with that one.
That was Adrian.
Oh yeah, that was Adrian. Shit.
Yeah,
Sorry.
It wasn't even me, and I'm in that show.
And you're in that show. Yeah, no, that was all me, bitch. So yeah, I just looked up a couple stats for us to get this started. Turns out we are not alone in our opinion of loving this show.
No.
This is the number 2 ranked show in TV history on IMDb.
Hold the fuck up. What is number one?
The only thing above it and below it is the Planet Earth documentaries, which are just like...
Wow.
So technically, Breaking Bad is the greatest show. I'm giving it number 1.
Yeah, fuck the Planet documentaries. Nobody gives a shit about those.
Oh, they're really good. But
They are very good.
I'm a huge doc person, and
Nobody cares.
I will accept. I think you're wrong there.
yeah, Mike.
Documentaries are pretty big.
Documentaries
But you are right
better.
that it doesn't belong on the same list as Breaking
Yeah.
Bad. It's like a whole separate thing.
It's funny,
So
though.
I would definitely accept Breaking Bad as number 1 show.
I like how everybody liked documentaries, but they stopped to watch Breaking Bad in the middle of them at some point.
That's probably that's exactly how I get down.
Apparently, you don't like documentaries. You're like the one person on earth who doesn't like to learn things. So
I hate learning things. Fuck education.
okay, Jesse.
Speaking of education, wasn't Walt a chemistry teacher?
Hey.
Oh yeah, a very mild-mannered, underachieving chemistry teacher.
Dude, I love that he started as such a sweater-wearing, khaki-wearing, dorky dad on this show.
It just hit Mike.
Bacon.
It took 7 episodes for him to be like a bald-headed badass.
Yeah,
it took me a minute to catch
yeah, Mike's like, what the hell do you mean underachieving? That's like his whole story arc. Mike, you need to go back and watch Breaking Bad.
Yeah, because even at the end, he still didn't come close to what he could have been through gray matter. But
Right.
but we'll get to that. That's way down the road.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. Yeah, so season 1 is... Cut that.
No, it's okay, because gray matter is brought up in the first season, so we're not off.
Oh,
top.
yeah.
That's true.
You're not off topic.
In the episode called Gray Matter.
Dun, dun, dun.
Just say full disclosure, everybody. Adrian knows every fucking title to every episode in what order, so
Pilot, The Cat's in the Bag, and The Bag's in the River, Cancer Man, Gray Matter, Crazy Handful of Nothing, No Rough Stuff type deal, season 1.
You might say he's a bit of a fan.
So why do you hate Breaking Bad, Adrian?
And Adrian, how did they get the name Gray Matter?
Well, you see, you take Elliot Schwartz and then you take Walter White, you combine those, and that makes Gray Matter technology.
That's right.
See, it's called Bat Mantle, Mike.
Yeah, see what I
See
did
what
was
he
I
did- what he
combined.
did there.
Guys, I just got that. I just now got that.
It just clicked. Wow, that's a deep cut there. Yeah, go back.
I believe that you're being honest right now.
Now, okay, so I have to ask a hard-hitting question right out of the gate. So on IMDb, this is the lowest rated season of the series, which doesn't surprise me. It still stands at an 8.7, which is amazing.
That's crazy.
Slowest
So
my ass.
I would never call this like the worst season or my least favorite. I would call it the least amazing season.
I think it's a very unappreciated season, personally. I think without it, like the rest of the show could have never like hit the highs that it did.
But in a first watch through, the first time you watch season 1, it does seem like the least favorable season. But if you go back after you've seen the whole show and watch one again, you appreciate it 10 times more.
Like I was hooked by by episode 2. I was already like,
So was
I'm in
I.
this for the long haul.
Quick disclosure here for everybody. I didn't watch Breaking Bad until the 5th season was about to start. Adrian watched it in college, and he lived with me after he came back. And he said, "Dude, you've never seen Game of Thrones?" And Game of Thrones.
Whoa.
You did- Sorry, I was actually looking that up for a different
Hey, you remember that episode where Heisenberg slayed a dragon?
Anyway,
No
he
one
did.
slayed any dragon.
He
Well,
did.
they sort of did. But,
I don't fucking know. I don't watch Game of Thrones.
well, you're missing
There-
out. You should watch
There was
it.
House Stark and there was House White.
Since I accidentally Freudian slipped that out, I am going to say that for years while Game of Thrones was on, I would text Adrian pictures of the scores of Game of Thrones episodes that they were higher than Breaking Bad
Yeah.
episodes, and it would piss him off so bad. And then that 8th season just put it just below Breaking Bad. It was above it by 0.2 the whole time. I'm like, oh, it's a better show. It's a better show. And then that last season, it's a 9.3. Breaking Bad is a 9.5. Son of a bitch, that 8th season.
Right,
Damn you, eighth
rightfully show. I'm sorry your
I
dragon
love
show
that
ended
8th
stupidly.
season, but it fucked the score.
And of course, you saw that meme that everybody, like, it's Walt saying, I won. It shows, like,
Yeah.
shows the ratings of
I
the two
think
shows.
Adrian made that meme because of all the years I was fucking
I won't.
No, I can't speak on that. I've never seen Game of Thrones. I hear it's amazing.
Nope, me neither.
Mike will probably never watch it. I think I will at some point.
It's so
Don't
good.
worry, Mike didn't like Breaking Bad either until we made him rewatch.
No. How fucking
Should we
dare
talk
you?
about that? Should we talk about it?
He was trying to be edgy, and now he's getting called out, and he's gonna.
That
lie
could actually
about
wait probably until the season 3 episode.
Because that's
Since
when
that
you
since
fell
that's when
off.
I stopped
That's
watching
true.
it for the first time.
You know, right before it
it.
got
Stopped watching it in
amazing.
season 3. Fucking insane to me. Anyway,
The first 2 episodes are so
season
boring.
1.
Yeah. So I was just, right out of the gate, I want to ask you guys, and if we all have the same answer, that's great. If not, that's even better. Would you consider this your least favorite season out of the 5 or 6, depending how you break up that 5th?
I would.
100%, because the show only progressively got better. Like even with my comment about the first 2 episodes of season 3 being boring, like the 3rd episode of season 3, fucking that's when everything just starts going crazy. The rest of the rest of the series.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that one's probably my
This is probably gonna
least
sound like a
favorite.
cop out, but I kind of I like to look at the show as one big thing and not really break it up like that.
Here we go with Infinity War and Endgame again.
Yeah,
Doug trying to combine everything.
But we're breaking it up into 5 individual episodes on the podcast.
yeah, we're breaking it up badly. I get it. Anyway,
we have said break a lot on this episode, and I don't think it's been intentional.
It hasn't actually.
It's in the script
No,
you
but-
guys sent me.
I guess if I had to say it, I guess it. I love season 1. I really do.
I do. No,
but-
Adrian is not saying, "Do you hate season 1?"
I know.
We all
I guess
love
it
it.
would be technically my least favorite.
I know there was I'm sure we all know that there was a Writers Guild of America strike that caused the first season to go from 9
Yeah.
episodes to 7.
It fucked up a lot of TV shows.
It did. And Vince Gilligan like credits that event for saving the show in a lot of ways. Now, a popular misconception is that strike caused him to rethink killing off Jesse Pinkman. He actually,
Thank goodness.
yes, thank God for that. But he rethought that idea very early into the process. That was not like a.
I think he rethought that just because of how Aaron Paul played the character.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not
They said
mistaken.
he's like an absolute pleasure to work with. He's a great actor.
Spoiler alert: Jesse Pinkman's one of my favorite characters.
One of my favorite shows in the entire world got affected hard by that writer's strike with Heroes.
Oh,
Oh, did it?
It fucked it up
Yeah.
bad.
Is that what ruined that show?
Yeah, it was one of the big reasons. Yeah.
There was a lot of shows that they normally would be like 20-something episodes, were only like 15, 12, like shit like that. Yeah, it's
Scrubs.
See, the only show I was like really into back when at that exact time was The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, and he just wrote the episodes himself every day until that ended. So the references just got kind of older, but it was still just as high quality every day.
the show that I was heavily into was Bones when that happened. It was only 15 episodes, season 3.
Oh no, I'm sure that's the reason that show sucked.
Listen,
I think-
we talked about this. The first 5 seasons of that show are amazing. The rest of it sucks.
I think Heroes went from 24 episodes second season to like 11 or something. It fucking
Jesus,
hard.
that's a big drop.
And I loved Heroes,
I
but
love it so much.
there was a lot of other reasons why that show.
Oh no,
got canceled.
that first season went off the
Only a
rails.
hero. Oh, sorry.
That's why Doug said, is that what ruined that show?
Yeah.
To me, I think that was a big reason because
I
season
watched it to
2
the
was
end.
very like crisp and clean, and then season 3 on after that writer's strike was just a mess.
See, unlike Breaking Bad, that's a show that had that was just so explosively strung out the gate that they just struggled to like hold up to that standard the rest of the
They
time.
couldn't keep the standard of the first 2 seasons.
Where Breaking Bad, well, it was super high quality.
Zachary Quinto's Siler was one of the most terrifying villains ever on a TV show.
Skylar?
Yep. Yeah, Skyler.
She is a pretty terrifying villain.
Yeah, she is. I would say Skylar's probably like the main like antagonist of the show. Like she's always going head to head with Walt.
For right reasons, though. Come on.
Absolutely.
No, fuck Skyler.
He's
Well,
like,
I
no,
mean,
fuck
yeah,
that.
she's annoying. She's annoying as fuck. But like, if you really break it down, God, we really are saying break a lot. Not intentional at all. But now I'm noticing it. If you really get to the heart of the matter, like she was full on
Gray matter?
justified. I was trying not to say break it down again.
If you, how else do I say this? I need to say break.
I'm not saying she wasn't justified, but she's just an insufferable cunt.
Jesus.
But there's
Con,
Mike.
con, con.
There's Mike with the cunt word.
Oh yeah, Mike and his like weird, delicate sensibilities.
Just that word. I don't like that word.
Get over it.
Skylar was totally justified in the way, if you think of like her home pregnant, her I almost said her boyfriend, her husband goes missing every day, all day without explanation.
You have
Oh, yeah.
to look at it. You
Totally
have to look at it
justified.
from her perspective. She had the right to be everything.
I get
she
both
was.
sides
Yeah.
of that.
But I mean, just from like episode 1, she was already like this
Yeah.
super insufferable, like
Yeah.
helicopter mom
Yeah.
wife. It's
But
like,
that,
oh my
and that's the
God.
thing. Like if Walt had been honest with her from the beginning about his cancer, I'm not talking about the cooking,
Right.
but like if he had if he had told her about the cancer from the beginning, she wouldn't have been nearly as bad because she had no idea what the fuck was going on. At least by saying, "Hey, this is what's going on. I have cancer."
See, I think you're wrong there. I think she, like the type of person
Well,
she
she
was
probably would have been overbearing and super worried.
before there was even a problem. She was just insufferable. Like, I'm not saying she wasn't justified in the way she acted or anything like that. She was just the way that character was written is one of those people that I could never stand.
Well,
to be
doesn't she
around.
find out about the cancer in like episode 3? He doesn't keep it from her very long.
He has to tell her pretty early on because she knows something's going on.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then they tell Hank and Marie like pretty quick in the
she
season.
like they're just. It was like she's just one of those. Like they lived in like a nice neighborhood in Albuquerque, New Mexico. She was like the stay-at-home mom, like super just annoying. Controlling everything. I just hate people like that.
Season 1, Walter White loved Skylar.
I don't think Walter White ever loved Skylar. I think he settled for Skylar because he threw away his.
That's
big
true.
wife.
He wanted Gretchen.
He wanted that lady. He wanted that lesbian girl from Friends.
Holy
No, but
fuck! I never realized that was her.
yeah.
It's the same person.
Whoa. So, do you think Skylar has any part in like the emasculation, like the way that Walt is, like kind of a pushover? Do you think it's just kind of like
Oh, 100%.
right?
Actually, if you really like think about all the people that Walt is surrounded by before he starts cooking, you got Hank, who's like this, like the men of all men
Yeah,
in that show, at least like in that around that world.
and talk
And
about
then you got-
character
you got-
development.
Yeah, you got Skylar, who is easily the one who wears the pants in that fucking family,
Right.
at least in season 1. I mean, yeah, no, he had surrounded himself with people who felt like they were more, I don't want to say better than him, but like dominant. They were more
Made him
dominant.
feel like less of a man.
Yeah.
Well, think
Right.
about that flashback when he's talking to Gretchen about what all we're made of in our body. He's super confident and romantic while he's talking
he
to her.
is.
He's not like a beaten
Yeah.
down dad.
And even early, like when they're buying the flashback, when they're buying the house, like he's super confident.
Something happened that we never got to see that really changed.
Did she fuck
Things.
Ted way before she said she did?
Ted.
IFT again. Yeah, no, but Hank, though, the character development of Hank, like in the first season, the first time I watched the show, I was not in love with the character of Hank.
Yeah, he annoyed me.
Yeah, Hank didn't become one of my favorite characters until probably season 3/4.
Yeah,
I don't typically ever like the super douchey frat guy in any show.
and that's what he was.
Yeah, and
Oh yeah,
Hank,
for sure. Yeah,
Hank really toned that down a lot.
His like meltdown when he got into rocks
Yeah.
and stuff was like really.
Jesus Christ, Doug, they're minerals.
when he started getting obsessed with catching Heisenberg. So
Shit, we're veering off.
I know,
season
I
one
know.
again.
Yeah, we are veering off season 1. It's because it's the least favorite.
So, is there something, and this can go for any of you or all of you if you have an answer. I have 2 things that I really liked about season 1. Is there anything about season 1 that you think it did better than the rest of the series?
I'll go.
Okay, good.
One of the very first things, they showed how 2 people who are not used to being in a certain situation would actually react, like real life situation.
Yeah,
When Walt and Jesse are pretty much faced with death, when Jesse brings those 2 guys out.
Emilio and Crazy 8.
Yeah, I always forget their names. They're not important.
They're pretty important.
You a nudist, man?
Yeah. But like when Walt does the thing, which he thinks he kills them both, and then like obviously Crazy 8 lives and they have him locked in the basement. What? It's Crazy 8 that lives, right? Or is
It's
it-
Crazy 8.
It's crazy.
You fucking you have me second guessing myself. But yeah,
Emilio!
when he's got him locked in the basement, he's literally like you could see the struggle where he goes back and forth between whether or not he should spare his life or kill him.
Yeah.
Because Walt knows, like Walt's a highly intelligent person. He knows that he needs to kill this man, but there's so much good in Walt at that point that he doesn't know if he can do it.
That first badass kind of cold line he has is, "But when I do let you go, are you going to stick me with that piece of broken plate you have in your pants?"
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like it's that first moment that you see Walt go, "Oh," or you think as an audience, "Oh, he's going to kill him."
There was a time where Walt had a hard time killing people.
Oh yeah.
That's actually one of my probably top 5 episodes in the entire series. In my opinion, is when he's down there in the basement talking to him, and
The bags in the river.
It's such a deep fucking moment.
he's looking for any excuse to like let him live, and he have that conversation about the commercials and stuff, and
It's what a real person would do.
Yeah.
Not a psychopath killer. They would really just like,
he made him a sandwich.
"I can't
Yep.
let you go because you'll kill my family or get me in
He
trouble."
could have poisoned him. I don't know why I didn't think
And
to do
give me
that.
a
He
reason.
took that plate up and threw it away, and when he realized it clicked that there's a part missing, he could just
Slightly
it didn't
breaks
line up.
down when you
And you
realize.
saw the look in his face,
Yeah.
like the dread and like the just
'Cause
anger. at
He
the
knew
same
in that
time.
moment that he couldn't let him live.
Yeah, and Walter, like, I just love the moral dilemma he's making, like that kill him, let him go list on the
Yeah.
toilet. And then that's the last big scene on a toilet that the show would have, right?
Yep,
Sure.
that's the last one.
That's the last one.
That's the last
Nothing
one we'll
else
talk about
happened.
tonight.
Yeah, that's right.
Walt's not even the only one. Like in that same scenario, Jesse struggles so hard just even to figure out how to fucking decompose of a body until he stupidly does it.
Jesse was never the villain that Walt was.
I know. I know.
No. He was torn from every side. Just he was kind of used everywhere.
Jesse is the only one I think that stuck with the morals, whatever morals he had the entire
He did.
series.
Even when I can't talk about it because it's a different season. Never mind. But Adrian, there was
We'll get to it.
there was another toilet scene in that first season when Walt breaks in on Jesse and he's smoking the meth
Oh
on
yeah,
the toilet and he tries to flush it.
yeah. I'm trying to pinch one off in here.
Science, bitch.
Yeah, no, I definitely love the moral dilemma. Like, this is obviously before Walt's a fucking monster.
Oh no, Walt was never a monster.
Yeah,
Heisenberg
Walt's
was
never a monster.
Oh,
yeah.
that's such
We'll
a
get to
cop
that.
out. That's such a cop out.
It's really not though. He
It is.
100% develops a second personality.
It's still Walt.
We'll get there.
Nah, I don't think Walt ever existed. I think that's the thing. But I'll get to that.
Okay, so Corey, Doug, you have anything? I mean, if not, I'll go if you guys are still thinking. Anything that you liked about the first season, maybe even more than other parts of the series?
I think Mike kind of said it already. Like, I don't think any other season showcased that moral dilemma like they did in season 1.
Yeah.
Just seeing like the struggle between right and wrong in Walt in season 1 that just didn't exist in the other seasons because he'd already made his choice.
Yeah.
By the end of season 1.
The only thing I can really think of that this first season did better than any of the other seasons is it had a lot more Tuco in it
Yeah, it did.
than all the
Yeah.
other seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about it.
This kicks like a mule with its balls wrapped in duct tape.
I actually
Pink,
highly
blue,
like
orange,
Tuco.
whatever. Just keep bringing me.
Just
this
keep
shit.
bringing me this shit. Tight.
I was so thrilled when I seen him in fucking Better Call Saul season 1.
Oh my god. Yeah. But okay, so I have two things. One, and I understand why the show had to get away from it. The first season really had a lot more like dark humor to it.
I love dark humor.
It was tonally just like a different show compared to the later seasons. And I see why as the seasons went on, they had to up the tension and the suspense.
Yeah.
But like sometimes like watching the later seasons, it was fucking hard to breathe because like it's so tense. And they still have like funny moments sprinkled in. But the first season just has so many of those moments.
Well, in the beginning, he's starting out. Of course, it's not going to be nearly as serious. Of course,
Exactly.
I mean,
The stakes aren't as high.
there's still the stake of getting caught. I mean,
Yep.
his brother-in-law is a fucking DEA agent after all, which still boggles my mind how it
Biggest
took him
stakes
so
for his
fucking long.
cholesterol count, man. That's why they eat turkey bacon.
Veggie bacon.
Yeah, veggie bacon.
Smells like a Band-Aid.
It smells like Band-Aids.
I feel like in season 1, Walt didn't give a shit what happened to him.
Doug showing his Band-Aid.
It didn't seem as like tense because Walt was basically like, whatever happens at this point happens. I'm dying anyway.
I think he cared
Yeah.
way more about what happened to him in the first season than any of the
No,
other
I think
seasons.
he cares. He cared way more about what happened to his family in season 1 than in the later seasons.
I think once he got that diagnosis, a few of the episodes in season 1, Walt got to like, I think in a way he did stop giving a fuck, like when he blew up that guy's car. And then obviously going to confront Tuco, like Walter White would never do that. But
No.
knowing that like he's gonna die, he just fucking
I'm already a dead man.
but yeah, on top of the comedy, I'd also say like I love the first season they incorporate like a lot of like Walt teaching Jesse and like giving him chemistry lessons. Like they talk about like when he's gonna blow up when he has the bomb that he makes for Tuco, the fulminated mercury, and then the
Yeah.
thermite when he's talking about like what is it, Gustav's gun? How they
Yeah.
just sent a single man in there with a bag of this and it went through the cannon.
Yeah.
You know,
Like I felt they did that a lot in season 1, and I really like
That's a-
that. Like I don't know why they went away from that.
Walter wasn't there no more.
That's actually really important too, because if you think about it, if that didn't happen in season 1, Jesse would have never been able to do what he does in later seasons.
I was going to say, Jesse kind of stopped needing those lessons eventually. He kind
Yeah.
of started to get it.
Yeah, but not just that. It's just like Walter was the teacher, and he just
Yeah.
there was less Walter White as time
Yeah.
went on. The teacher wasn't there anymore by the end.
That's true.
I think people mistakenly classify Jesse as a really dumb idiot. And I mean,
Well, I wouldn't say mistakenly in season 1.
no, season 1, he 100% is like,
Captain Cook.
he was
and
meant
his
to be an
chili
idiot.
powder.
in
yeah,
the first
he
season.
had always had the potential to be intelligent.
Yeah, he shows potential.
He just never wanted to pursue it.
I feel like Mike sees himself in Jesse, so he hates people.
According to the graded paper he pulls out of his bedroom in childhood bedroom, it
Yeah,
says apply yourself.
ridiculous.
I don't think he
Apply
had much-
yourself.
I don't think he had much potential.
Well, it's shown later that Jesse like he's not like a book learning kind of person, but he had potential in other things.
Yeah.
I mean, he was definitely a smart guy. He was a smart guy. He picked up everything he could do. By the end, he was doing shit just as well as Walt
Oh, he
Yeah.
cooked, what was it, 93% meth eventually.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like he was just as good.
Yep, they didn't need Heisenberg anymore.
Your meth is good, Jesse, just as good as mine.
But season 1, Jesse, is a train wreck of
Oh,
a
no.
human being.
Oh, my God.
He and this is a thing, and it's a theme throughout the entire series. Is Jesse constantly makes bad decisions.
He does.
Season 1, Jesse, is everybody I went to high school with.
If you're listening, we're sorry. No, we're not.
I'm not.
That's even down to the oversized clothes and the beanie. That's everybody we went to school with.
And the sup bitch.
And the meth.
I was waiting for somebody to get to the crux of the matter. It could be the crippling drug addiction that he
Harry, when did you get here?
So for 62 episodes, Jesse Pinkman only says bitch 54 times,
Oh,
which is surprising. We get less than one per episode on average.
one bitch per episode.
Yeah.
wow.
Just
It
under
seems
one
like so
bitch.
much more.
It
It's
really
gotta be
does.
more than that. Somebody
What was it, Aaron
discounted.
Paul in interviews is like, yeah, and people always like come up to me and ask me to call him bitch. It's so weird, but I do it.
He said he made an app, like back in 2014, he made an app called Yo Bitch.
Yo,
Is
bitch.
that all it did was just say that?
Yeah, I don't know if it's still around, but yeah, that's all it did.
That's excellent.
It's like imagine a soundboard, but just one sound, like "Yo, bitch." No, but
Yeah, Mr. White, science.
yeah, science. Yeah, that's one of those comedy moments, like that whole scene. Like Jesse's like, I don't know, I'm just gonna like move to Oregon or something. Like,
Yeah.
and then when Walt shows him the castor beans or rice and beans, Jesse's
Right.
like,
yeah.
Jesse's like, what? Oh, so we're gonna build grow a magic beanstalk, climb out of here. Like,
I love his lines like that.
yeah, Jesse and Walt's interactions in season 1 are so good.
What's your guys' favorite episode from season 1?
I really like the one where they go steal the big tub of meth.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot more science in that episode.
Oh, the
There's a lot of-
methylamine.
There's a lot of really funny lines between them in that episode. Plus, you get Tuco beating that guy to death at the end of it.
Yeah,
I'm laughing.
Like that was like fucking. That was such like fucking kid time. Like, oh my god, amateur hour. They should have never got away with that.
There's no way with those loud ass alarms they ever would have got out with that giant
Like
barrel.
if it wasn't for the fact that the security people were just fucking off, they would have never got away with it.
Like Hank's line when he sees them carrying it out, he's like, "Why didn't they just fucking
It's
roll
a
it?"
barrel. It rolls. No,
Yeah.
that I think that scene right there, that scene is perfect. Like it just like perfectly encapsulates both of them early on.
They
Like
had no idea what they were.
the brilliance that was Walt to come up with thermite to burn through that
Yeah.
log, but then they fucking carry that barrel. Like,
It was just amateur hour, man.
yeah, and then like literally the transition from them walking past the porta potty is like the barrel falling down Jesse's stairs,
Yeah.
and then Walt's like, "What part of weight didn't you understand?" Jesse's like, "It's heavy."
Those two together. Anytime they're together, an entire episode is always gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what about the other two? What's your favorite episode?
I'm probably just gonna have to be real basic here and say the highest rated episode of the season, which was Crazy Handful of Nothing, which is when Walt.
When he goes,
I don't
to
know if you want to
Tuco's-
say he becomes Heisenberg, but yeah, it's when he
goes
shaves
to
his head,
Tuco's place.
when he goes to Tuco's.
That's probably my second favorite episode.
That's probably when Heisenberg starts to become.
He
the
walks.
one.
Oh, when I love when he afterwards when he like it's like
That I was gonna say
Yeah.
that's probably my favorite moment of the season. Like what I like even more than him like shaking fucking violently in his vehicle is that little like sideways smile he gets right before he drives off. Like
Yeah.
you can tell how much he fucking is alive. Like he
That is when he was
loved it.
born because he was like, oh, I do like this life.
He smiled.
I'm good at this.
Because like he did other things, smaller things in the couple, like you know that guy's fucking car, he blew it up, but you didn't see that fucking smile of satisfaction come out.
Yeah.
Or when he almost beat the shit out of those kids for
He
making
walked
fun of
in
his
there
son.
and he took control of fucking Tuco and everything, and he walked out with what he wanted and then some.
That smile, just with that music like bleeding in, getting ready to go to the credits, and his smile, I'm like, oh, this is fucking awesome.
I think Tuco almost respected him after that.
Oh, he absolutely did.
Because Tuco's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Tuco took him on his word after that.
He did. Money up front.
He shaves his head and comes out to the breakfast table, and Walt Jr. says, "Badass, Dad." I don't know why that always makes me laugh.
Badass, Dad. Yeah, I do love that. So, obviously, Bryan Cranston was like never a fucking name before that. He was like the goofy dad and fucking Malcolm.
Oh yeah, I never ever saw this.
He's Hammond Druthers.
He's
This was
Hammy
after.
D?
Hey, Mindy,
I'm sorry. I got
you stole my Pete
lost.
Rose baseball.
But
What's that What's that like that little joke he did where like he was on camera and he sneezed and they just handed him an Oscar? Thank you.
oh yeah,
Oh, thank you.
I should say Bryan Cranston was a relatively unknown comedic actor before
He
this.
was
Okay,
underrated.
He was on an episode of
unappreciated.
X-Files, which is where Vince Gilligan found him.
That's why Vince Gilligan put him in the show.
I wish I would have watched X-Files to have seen that, but
I saw it after. I never watched X-Files either. I found his episode and watched it after, and it was okay, but I was never into X-Files very much.
yeah,
Well, Doug's not into this kind of shows, whether it's supernatural or not.
even with its shtick, it was still just a procedurally driven
Yeah.
cop
Yeah,
show drama,
it was.
and I just can't get into them.
And I like David Duchovny, but not enough to like carry a show. That's why I never watched his Californication or whatever.
But do you guys know, and even if you do, I'm still going to say the names for all the listeners. Do you guys know
Wait.
the two-
Is this an Adrian fun fact?
Oh, this is a fun fact.
Oh, Mike was looking for something. I thought he downloaded a sound or something.
No.
He was looking on his computer like, whoa, what's about to
I was like,
happen?
oh, fuck, let's go. But, so do you... Oh, shit. That's our best one yet. All right, I'm going to save that in the editing, Doug's, and then we're going to put that in. Does anybody know either of the names that the two people that were offered the role of Walter White that both turned it down?
No.
Yeah, wasn't
Intrigued
one of
me.
them Anthony Hopkins or something?
No, Anthony
What?
Hopkins. Anthony Hopkins was the one that wrote Bryan Cranston in season 5 and said, "You're
Okay.
fucking brilliant."
That's right. I knew there was something with Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah. So the choices were Matthew Broderick,
What?
Matthew Broderick, who turned it down.
Then again, we didn't see Bryan Cranston, so we none of us saw that. So maybe.
Yeah, you know, I gotta stop judging people except
Yeah.
Jared Leto before I see them.
He's an exception to the rule.
Yeah, AMC. So AMC pushed for Matthew Broderick, and the other, which definitely would have been better than Matthew Broderick, John Cusack was the other
I
consideration.
could have definitely saw.
I could have seen that. Yeah.
John Cusack.
Mr. 1408 himself.
I like John.
What's he even
Cusack
doing
enough.
nowadays? Nothing.
The only problem with John Cusack is he's flaky. After he does something for long enough, he wants out of it. I feel like that might have happened.
It was only 5 years.
Yeah.
Well, 2008 to 2013. Yeah, 5 years.
Yeah, interesting. I'm so glad we got Bryan Cranston. Don't get me wrong, but
Oh,
it would have
for
been
sure.
interesting to see somebody else's take on the character.
Yeah, AMC didn't want to use Bryan Cranston at all.
It makes sense. Looking at him, you
Nobody
would
saw
not
it coming,
think-
man. Like
No.
he was Malcolm in the Middle dad.
He was a comedian. Yeah, he was like a comic actor.
He still does comedy stuff.
That fan theory about how this is actually just like the Malcolm in the Middle was
Yeah.
just where he went afterwards. Because he had those genius children that were all extremely good at something. He could just suddenly fix things or make weird contraptions.
Did you ever see the Emmys skit where he wakes up next to his wife from Malcolm in the Middle?
Yeah.
And he's like crying to her, I just had a dream I was this teacher and I got cancer and I started selling meth and I shaved my head. She's
Oh
like,
my
honey,
God.
that didn't happen. It's really
I love
fun.
so much that they did that because like there were so many fan theories about that and they played
Yeah.
right into it.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Bryan Cranston's a genius feeding fans what they want. That
Oh,
he's
yeah.
very good at.
He knows.
Oh,
he
dude.
loves to give the fans what they
He
want.
does.
That fucking sweepstakes promo that him and Aaron Paul did in the RV.
To cook
It's
with them in the
hilarious.
RV.
Oh, that's not. They did.
You can even shit in the bucket.
Yeah. I love it. Just when Aaron Paul's like, you can shit in the bucket, and the way Bryan Cranston's like, ooh,
Yeah.
it cracks me up.
That's so good.
Fucking lose it.
You gotta watch the pawn shop skit, man. Hardcore pawn. That shit
Yeah,
is
where,
that's fucking hilarious.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus comes in to sell him her Emmy.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and then she's like supporting actor or supporting actor or actress is just as important as leading role. Aaron Paul's like, damn straight.
And Bryan Cranston's just looking like,
Yeah. Yeah, but AMC was pushing heavy against him until Vince Gilligan showed him like their work on X-Files. And they had him in for the pilot and they said, all right, we like this guy.
Thank God Vince Gilligan watched X-Files. He did what I couldn't do.
Well, he wrote it.
Oh, he wrote that episode?
Yeah.
Yeah, he wrote that episode. He was one
Yeah, I
of the
knew he
writers of
wasn't a main
X-Files.
writer. Okay.
And if you watch anything with Vince Gilligan, that man is a motherfucking genius.
Oh, he is.
There's nothing he doesn't think of. Everything is thought out.
He does. Every scene has a purpose. With
Every
Vince
scene
Gilligan.
has a
There's
purpose.
no
Oh, we
throwaway.
talked about this in episode 2 of
Yeah.
Culture Shocked.
Well, it's coming up. It has to come up again. There's
Yeah, it
no
has
way
to.
avoid that.
Yeah, Brian and Aaron are they're both pleasures to work with. Vince Gilligan.
Quick aside, you guys hear the news about Better Call Saul that Jesse and
Yep.
Walt are going to make an appearance?
It's probably going to be the last episode of
They
the season.
definitely got them
season or
cast.
series.
Yeah.
They said it's most likely the finale.
They're gonna reprise their
It makes
role
sense.
for-
It's probably just them showing up.
I think it's gonna end the exact way that I said I hope it ends, is with Walt
Yeah.
walking into the fucking
Yeah,
Yeah.
Saul's office.
Well, it can't end like
Or
that. They got Aaron Paul,
as
too.
as Brandon Mayhew's uncle.
Yeah.
Or because I have, you guys probably know more than I. I've only watched like 2 seasons so far, Better Call Saul.
I'm
So
a
trying to
season
catch
behind.
up on other shows you guys keep telling me to watch.
only watched 3 up to season.
I've only
5.
watched 5 seasons, which is what there are currently.
Yeah, sorry.
The very beginning of that, where he's sitting at home and he's like in a completely different, like that's obviously right after Breaking Bad, the
Yeah,
beginning
that's
of
his
Better
li-
Call
That's
Saul.
his life after.
Like you see somebody outside. What if that's Bryan Cranston or Aaron Paul coming to kill him or something?
Well, it's not Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston's dead at the end of Breaking Bad.
Spoiler alert.
Yes, big spoiler.
What? Wait, when did this show end?
Wait, so you're saying like when he's Gene, like in the black and white scene at the beginning of Better Call Saul?
Baskin
Yeah.
Robbins always finds out, bro.
I just
Yeah.
see the problem with that is it's definitely not Walter White, like we said. Spoiler.
I think we'll do episodes on Better Call Saul someday.
Oh, I'd love it. And El Camino,
Yes.
also spoiler. It's not Jesse because Jesse got his.
He ends up in
ending.
Alaska.
Yeah,
Guess he fucked
Yeah.
off and just went to live a life somewhere.
which Mike told him to. Which I love that little scene in El Camino. But anyway, he said, "Oh, Mike," but Mike's not in this season, so
Yeah.
I know.
Sorry, Mike. You'll have to wait to talk about Mike another time.
So-
Fine, I'll just see myself out.
sorry, Mike.
Get the fuck out of here.
Mike, stop talking about Mike.
Whatever.
Mike and Mike.
Mike and Mike in the morning. Oh no.
Okay, so I guess I would. Oh, go, Doug. You got something?
I just have a little fun question for you guys that I just thought of.
Yeah.
If this show had been done in the 80s, who would you have had cast as Walt and Jesse? What actors at the time?
In the 80s.
Yeah, because I
Definitely-
could see Jesse being like a fucking Michael J. Fox type.
That's what I was gonna say. Michael J. Fox for Jesse. Walt.
Kevin Costner.
I was gonna say Kevin Spacey.
Ooh.
Kevin Spacey would
Listen,
have been a really good
Brilliant
Walt.
fucking actor, and that's
we've
where I'll leave that.
we've said this enough. I'm not like just talk about Kevin.
I'm
Spacey.
gonna say Van Damme.
Jean-Claude.
Yeah.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger as Jesse Pinkman.
Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jean-Claude Van Damme as Walt. and Jesse.
White.
In the
So
80s, they would have done
science,
stupid.
bitch.
In the 80s, they would have done stupid shit like that.
Oh,
That's
they
true.
would've, yeah.
There would have there wouldn't have been a Breaking Bad in the
But
80s.
for
It would
real,
have been good.
though,
Bitch.
It would have been a comedy.
who would you have cast there for real?
I'm sticking with the Kevin Spacey thing. I think, and Michael
I
J.
think that's a
Fox.
good one.
I think Tom Cruise would have been a really good Jesse Pinkman.
Oh yeah, young Tom
Yeah?
Cruise,
Yeah. I can't pick a Walt.
Jack
Maybe
Nicholson, and Tom Cruise.
Jack Nicholson would have been good.
Oh man, that would have been crazy.
Bill Murray.
Oh,
Bill Murray could do both.
Bill Murray does make meth in Dumb and Dumber 2, unaccredited.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's
He's
right.
The guy
He
in the
does.
suit. He's the guy
Yeah.
in the suit.
Yeah, it's my new roommate. He makes rock candy. Must be Cajun.
My eyes have hurt when he does.
I do like a Meg Ryan or a Heather Locklear as like Skylar.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Franz Drescher.
Fran. Oh God, no! Please
What?
no.
Why do
Ah,
we keep bringing her up?
Walter.
Listen, Skylar's already insufferable in ways. We don't need that voice.
Why do we keep
Franz
bringing
Drescher was
her
a
up?
beautiful woman.
If it was late 80s, early 90s, maybe Bruce Willis would have been a good Walter White. But he wasn't
I could
quite
see that.
around yet.
Could you imagine Bruce Willis bald?
He
though?
wasn't the Bruce Willis we know today. He was the
No, I
like
know that. but
rom
he,
drum Bruce Willis.
he
So.
didn't have to be an old man to be.
No,
Walter
that isn't
White.
what I mean. Like,
Nick,
all he
Nick
did was like
Cage.
romantic comedies before Die Hard. Like nobody thought he could.
All
do
Bryan
Die
Cranston did was comedies.
Hard. Good point. He is Bryan Cranston. You're right.
Well, Nick Cage is my answer to everything. So Nick Cage is in the running.
Fucking Christ.
Nick Cage and John Travolta. They
No,
should do a
John
movie
Travolta.
together.
Did you?
John
is that- is
Travolta
that-
actually could have done Walter White. I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he'd have been like, "We should make meth, huh?"
Nah, dude. He gets really. You've seen the fucking movies where he plays bad guys,
As you say,
Yeah.
have you seen Taking a
and
Pelham
a
1, 2,
bald
3?
bad guy. You know.
Yes, I have.
That is a beautiful performance by him and Denzel Washington in that fucking movie.
You've never seen Phenomenon. You don't get to talk about John Travolta and beautiful
Phenomenon's so
performances.
good. I even really like him in Michael.
I was just going to
Oh
say,
my
Mike,
God,
have you seen
Michael's
Michael?
so
Why do we keep saying the name
The
Mike?
movie's fucking
He's a
beautiful.
fallen angel. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Man, whatever happened to John Travolta? I missed that motherfucker.
Hey, whatever happened to John Travolta?
He got
He got
crazy and
weird.
became a Scientologist.
Really? That's heartbreaking. That's more heartbreaking than Walter White becoming Heisenberg.
Stop.
Dude, the Scientologists aren't coming to get
They're
you.
gonna
not-
kill us.
I'm not.
And we're
kidding.
not editing that out. Fuck Scientologists. Moving on.
We're dead. Great. We're dead. Well, guys,
That was
it's been great.
Galactic Overlord Xenu doesn't exist and he's not coming to get you.
I've loved doing this podcast with you guys. Godspeed.
Who doesn't exist, by the way? I'll edit that out.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
I have to edit it. Okay. I mean, I would keep it in. We have two people that would probably say edit it out.
Adrian,
Oh,
you're
let's
editing
see.
this one.
Yeah, it's your call.
So
Oh,
it's your call.
better call me.
Better
Better
call.
call
it.
Adrian.
Anyway. You had a question that I interrupted to ask.
Yeah, no. So I just it's a good little diatribe we went on. John Travolta, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Sylvester Stallone, maybe Sly
All
Stallone.
three of them. All
I
three
was
of them.
thinking Mr. T.
One would be Hank.
One would be Hank.
Mr. T.
I'd like to see those three guys in Three Men and a Little Lady.
I pity these fools. They can't even roll a barrel.
What if it was just Stallone and Van Damme, but like each time he changed his persona, it was the other one?
I'm listening. I'm
It's like
telling
Mary
you,
Kate and Ashley Olsen.
Breaking Bad in the 80s would have been a comedy.
In a lot of ways, the first season was. Season 1. No, but so what I
And
wanted
we're
to ask you
back.
guys is there are so many, like with every season of the show, there are like so many iconic moments. What do you think is the first moment? Like Doug was like, for you said episode 2, was it?
Well, like for me, that was my favorite one. The first iconic moment, I think, is the very beginning of episode 1.
When he's talking into the camera.
Yeah, like when he's standing there and I don't think there's a more iconic moment in the entire series than him standing in the desert in his green shirt, his tidy whities,
His tidy
the
whities.
fucking gun in hand, and he hears those sirens. The fucking RVs like crashed. I think that's the most iconic thing. That's why I was hooked.
It's
from
on my
the-
list too, but I don't think
Go.
it's the most.
What about the scene when he flips out on the guy at the car wash?
Bogdan.
And he grabs his balls.
I have a fun fact about him, by the way.
It's probably what I was
Lay
going
it
to say,
on
but
us.
I want you to say it.
Corey's
Corey's made up fun facts.
Palmer fun facts.
Corey's chill facts.
First of
Corey's
all,
chill
none of
facts.
my fun facts are made up.
Oh no, just your statistics.
Just my statistics.
That's true.
Oh my god, he
Marius
finally
Stan-
admitted it.
Shut the fuck up. Marius Stan, the guy who plays Bogdan, is a real life Romanian scientist.
Oh shit.
Yep, he's a chemist. Doug, I'm going to let you take it from here. He is a senior computational energy scientist. Go ahead, Doug. Explain to the audience what that means.
I have no idea, to be honest.
You see, what it means is
I was into physics. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Chemistry is my
Hold on.
buddy Alex.
what it means. What it means is.
Oh, wait, please. Let's let Mike explain this.
Seriously, here. What it means is, I don't know.
I thought he was trying to stall until he could Google it.
Yeah, that's I thought he was gonna read it off the screen. And I was like, yeah, let's hear
What it means is
Can you tell me one more time what he is exactly?
he is a senior computational energy scientist.
Well, computate. Okay, so he does.
Let's
a lot
break it
of-
down word by word.
So he studies the math of chemistry?
No, he probably computational energy. So he's probably doing something with like fusion or something. He's probably trying to like, if I had to guess.
So he's like Doc Ock from
He's
Spider-Man
Doc
2.
Ock, yeah.
Yeah, kind
Well,
of.
he has
I
the
think
power
so.
of the sun in the palm of his hands.
No,
Sam
he
Raimi.
wants to though.
I have to say it at least once an
Yeah.
episode. Somehow we got there.
I'm not saying that for certain, but that's my guess. Is it's something along those lines? As he works in that sort of field.
Adrian and I were always way more into chemistry because our dad used to cook meth.
Yeah, exactly.
Ready?
No wonder you
This-
guys like Breaking Bad.
This is via Google.
Okay, what do we got?
Computational science is the application of computer science and software engineering principles to solving scientific
computational
problems.
energy science, not
Computational
not
energy
computer.
scientist.
Yeah, I know what a computer scientist.
Computation scientist would have been much easier to explain.
Yeah, that's just
Yeah.
fucking. I know how to do some coding. Shit.
Is an area of science that spans many disciplines, but at its core, it involves the development of models and simulations to understand natural systems.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
So it's more like the scientists and the third Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie that Sandman accidentally goes into their little experiment, the particle accelerator.
Yeah.
Wait, there's a Spider-Man and a Sandman? That's the line, right? From Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, something like that.
And an Ant-Man. Anyway.
There's a Spider-Man and a Sandman?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then on those same lines, since Brian and Cranston.
Listen, there's a guy that I work
Me,
with.
myself, and Irene over here.
Yeah, Brian
he's like
Cranston.
Mike and Craig, they're pretty close, right?
Brian and Cranston and Heisenberg walk into a bar.
Yeah, right. And then Mike punches him in the face and says, "Thanks for the drink." But that's in a later season. No, but
Mike.
so
in peace, Walter.
this whole episode is Mike just going to be, "Oh, Mike."
Mike's overrated.
And he's not even in the show yet.
Whoa,
Hey,
whoa,
we'll get
man,
there.
whoa! We'll talk about that
Way
later.
wrong there.
Don't you talk shit on Jonathan Banks?
That's it. Adrian, Corey, and I are going to go start our own podcast with blackjack and hookers.
It's going to be called the Mike Ehrmantraut.
Mike Ehrmantraut Incorporated.
1 minute of Mike Armstrong each episode. Remember the time he walked? Oh wait, that's season 2.
I can talk about the first time he's ever on screen for an hour and a half. He's so good.
So since Brian Cranston and Aaron Paul
There you go.
aren't actually chemists in real life, DEA.
Brian and Cranston and
Brian
Aaron
and Chris.
Paul? That's a lot of people.
See, Aaron and Paul could work because those are first names.
I know.
But DEA chemists actually came in and taught them how to make meth
What?
That's beautiful.
to make the show more accurate. Now, they do leave certain parts out of the show. Like, you couldn't
Right.
just watch the show and make crystal meth.
If you watch
But
the entire
Fill in the
show,
blanks.
if you watch the entire show, they almost give you the entire formula for meth. Somewhere spread out throughout the whole show. You only have
Right.
to figure out a couple little things.
Yeah,
They give you a
just had to
lot.
leave. They give people a little too much information, but
Yeah.
Spoiler
Hey,
alert.
I don't
The
give a
missing information is chili powder.
No, that's all through the show.
you and I will not make garbage. We will produce a chemically pure and stable product that performs as advertised. No adulterants, no baby formula, no chili powder.
My shit is the bomb, yo. Your shit is shit. You wouldn't boil a volumetric flask.
I love when Aaron Paul says, like, you have 2 3-inch glass pieces here, man. This is amazing. He goes, actually, it's basic chemistry, but thank you. I'm glad it's acceptable. I love the way he says that.
Yo, this is glass grade, Mr. White. You're a goddamn artist.
It's not art, it's chemistry, but I'm glad it's acceptable. I fucking love that.
At the end of the
Yeah.
day, cooking is art. God damn you, Aaron Paul. Yeah, so technically, Brian Cranston and Aaron Paul know how to make crystal meth, and probably so does Bogdan.
in real life, Bogdan definitely knows how to make it.
Walter, this is not the meth I teach you how to make.
That's a good one.
Are you to be standing there all day or make meth? Fuck you, Bogdan.
Oh, man.
Make this meth.
Grabs nuts.
Dude, I can't wait till we get
Down
to
this
further
volumetric
seasons.
flask.
You do not boil water in a volumetric flask. You use a boiling flask for that.
50 milliliter round bottom. Oh god, yeah. I love early on in the show, like they do the cat and mouse thing through the whole thing. I love like Hank getting this close to finding Walt out.
Dude.
But that first one in his high school class, like, we don't want people to go suspecting you. The way Walt looked. Like, first of all, Walt he's not chill at all about it.
And he puts his hands up and goes,
Yeah. If Hank he does the Hank like like if Hank didn't have that ignorance to like never in a million years think of Walt as a criminal, he could have looked at him right there and been like, "Are you okay, buddy?"
he definitely would have investigated him a little
Yeah.
more if he hadn't thought he was way too vanilla for that.
I think that if Walter hadn't been his brother-in-law, he 100% would have suspected him right from the start.
I think Hank just knows what kind of person that Walt was, and he's like, this guy doesn't have the
Exactly.
balls to do this kind of thing.
Yeah, because the Walt that he knew was a pushover because of fucking Skylar.
Yeah, but if you put together like him wanting to go on that drive along with Hank and then all that missing gear from his chemistry class, Hank proves himself throughout the show to be a fucking awesome detective. Like,
He's a
it's amazing how right he is every time,
Yeah.
especially like with Gus and everything. But like, I love that blind spot that he has that never in a million years would Walter White do this.
And I know we'll talk about it, but when it dawns on him, holy shit.
Holy shit. Nice.
They
I
can
see what
make
you
any
did there.
comments that I want to like talk about, but I'll wait.
Holy shit.
We'll get there. I mean, that must have been one good shit.
When he
But-
looks up at the camera and you hear plop and then the credits roll. Oh, such a good moment.
No, Plop's from The Office,
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
but we won't talk about that
Guys,
because Doug's here.
our top bathroom scenes have to wait till the season. They
Top
come
bathroom
on.
scenes.
In fact, no, Plop's really guy's name in The Office.
One of my favorite bathroom scenes is when the tub comes down through the ceiling.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because he's like, "Don't worry, Mr. White, I took care of it. I don't know why you told me to get plastic bins.
Can't dissolve
Tub worked just
that.
fine."
The reason I told you to get plastic.
Oh yeah, and it comes through the ceiling. He's like, "What was
Yeah.
that you were saying?" Oh right,
Oh,
those
and
plastic
you know that
bins.
scene's a great example of why you should fucking listen to people smarter than you.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Hydrofluoric acid can eat through metal, rock, ceramic. Can't eat through plastic. So there's that.
Yeah, he's
I
like,
love how he
he's
says.
like, do you know what it can't eat through?
Can't eat through plastic. You don't suppose you could have bought two and just
the torso in one and the legs in the other. I don't suppose you could kiss my ass.
I love how he like just incredulously would like how incredulous he would act when he would like suggest these things to Jesse that he wouldn't have ever done
Exactly.
himself.
Yeah.
At that point,
That's what I mean. Jesse gets used a lot.
Well, hold on. I think the reason that Walt says these things to Jesse is because at the beginning, Walt sees Jesse as just this criminal lowlife, so he just assumes that he's okay with doing that. Like he's probably like, oh, he's probably thought of doing this before.
he doesn't think of like the morality of like actually
Right.
taking a life.
He doesn't realize that Jesse actually has better morale or better morals than
morality than he does.
he does. Yeah.
I don't think that many people have more morale than that person.
It depends
No,
on the
I-
character you choose at the beginning of your D&D. So.
That's true. That's true.
That's one of my roll for initiative. No, but that's one of my favorite lines from Jesse in that first season is like when they're out in the car and Walt's like, "None of this would have happened if you would have just listened to me." Oh well, oh Hitler, bitch.
Oh, so good.
God, I love their dynamic and every. God damn it, Doug has his dice.
Nice.
No, these are all 10. I have 50 10-siders because Vampire only uses 10-sided die.
By the way, this guy I work with, he has like over $3,000 in D&D dice,
Oh, that's sick.
right? But
I'd
but
love to see the collection.
he has like a whole spreadsheet for it and everything.
FYE, they sell this light up 20-sided die that like lights up red. All the
that's cool.
numbers and stuff are red. I want it so bad.
Is FYE still a thing?
In Erie,
I recently found out it still exists in some places, yeah.
they have a
Wow.
couple left, yeah, and they're always 20% off sale, 50% off sale.
They're always going out of business sale, but they just never actually go out of business.
The only places they exist are in bigger cities now.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
not like shitty ass Venango County, that garbage fucking
No.
ass place.
As Walter White would
Thank
say.
God we don't live there.
Wow.
I don't. Adrian doesn't. Just you
Fuck
two,
you, man.
unfortunate.
I don't
pricks.
live there in my head.
Yeah. In my head, I live in Colorado.
It's like the opening to the South Park movie. Oh, the sun is shining
Oh, the sun is shining.
in this quiet
That's more of a
little
world
mountain
Wow.
town.
Wow. I was quoting Shooter and you went with South Park. Okay.
I don't know what Shooter is.
Shooter McGavin?
Mark Wahlberg movie. That's a great movie.
Bob Lee Swagger.
Yeah, those like random like thrillers just don't do a lot
And it's
for
a
me.
show now too.
It's the movie's way better.
Yeah, it is.
So, anyway, Breaking Bad. So
Yeah, let's break into this.
we talk. Yeah, let's break it down a little bit.
Yeah, I did that one on purpose.
Will you guys quit breaking Adrian's concentration? He's trying to talk.
Yeah, he's really bad at hosting.
Guys, I think we need to take a 5-minute break. God
Yeah.
damn it.
My
Adrian,
stomach feels really bad.
okay, Mike. Seriously though, Doug, Mike, will you be quiet while Adrian breaks this down for us?
A 5-minute break
Yeah.
could be a bad idea. That might be.
Yeah, at this point it would be.
I like the candy bar fast break. Go ahead, Adrian.
So Doug briefly.
Break into that Kit Kat bar.
God damn it.
Break.
Adrian, you stop breaking concentration. Fuck.
Guys, if you keep interrupting me, I'm about to break.
I'm on the edge. I'm about to break.
I dig that.
Mike liked that one. So Doug talked about his most iconic moment being, of course, the whitey tighties. I mean,
I just like when I think Breaking Bad, that it's like that cut. Wasn't that the cover to the DVD of season 1?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Him saying-
yeah, him
like
standing
that's
there.
just the first image in
With
my
the
head.
And he still had
Yeah.
hair at that time.
Yeah, hair, mustache, green shirt, fucking tighty whities, gun in left hand, I believe, or was it the right?
and with one half of his shirt tucked
left-
into
left
his
hand.
undies.
One half the shirt tucked in, kind of blown in the wind,
Which
boots
is
on,
weird.
sand,
Why
desert.
is your shirt tucked into your underwear?
And a couple things, like these were choices by Vince Gilligan and I almost said Walter White, Bryan Cranston. So
I think you can call him Walter White.
the Tidy Whities was a choice by Bryan Cranston because he said it seems like the most like just pathetic form of
Dad thing to do.
Yeah, nobody wears whitey tidies. I'm sure our listeners want to hear this. Anybody here whitey tidy person?
Fuck you.
I do want to point out.
What is
that
underwear?
Adrian's saying it backwards. It's
Tidy
tidy
whities.
whities.
Whitey tidies. See, I haven't worn them in so long. I
Walter
forgot what
Whitey tighties.
Walter
Anyway.
Whitey tidies. And then
Wait,
Vince
you guys are still wearing underwear?
That's so 2010.
Wait,
You guys are so 2000 late.
wow, that's a good reference.
Are we talking about music?
Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, yeah. Corey's blanking out already.
That one's even worse.
I made a music reference to one of my Facebook statuses, and Corey just done.
I passed out as soon as he said it.
So, Corey, what do you think? What is the moment in season one that, like, because I was showing you, obviously, all the seasons. So, what do you think was the first moment, or just the most iconic, whatever you want to give me, that, like, kind of hooked you in and you're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to like this show?
The first moment I was hooked.
Yeah, or, like, the most iconic moment from the season.
Probably the Tuco moment.
When Walter White is being forced to cook meth and he throws the red phosphorus down in the water.
Yeah.
That was where I was like, oh, this is going to be a good show.
Isn't it? Does he throw it in the water, or is he cooks
Boiling
it too
water.
long or something?
No, boiling water.
Oh,
You don't introduce red phosphorus to boiling water.
okay.
It makes it
Yeah.
He's
poisonous
speaking from
fast.
experience here, guys. Oh, and for any law enforcement officials listening, we do not cook methamphetamine or methamphetamine-like products. Thank you.
I just collect rocks. I mean minerals.
I cook meth.
This is not an admission of
Cut
guilt.
that.
I'm speaking to my audience.
To all law enforcement entities. I was watching one of my favorite YouTubers do
I
it.
shouldn't make jokes like that because my last name's Baker. They will look into it.
I was watching like a review of one of my favorite YouTube reviewers, and he was talking about the first season of Breaking Bad, and his little intro of his video was cool. He said, "To all copyright entities, this is not an admission of guilt. This is a message to my subscribers."
Nice.
It's pretty
Nice.
clever. So, Corey, you think it's with the red phosphorus? That was the first, and that was in the pilot, so that was like immediate. Like,
Oh, I was hooked in the first episode. Like I was saying earlier, I never really got to finish it, but Adrian came back from college. The 5th season was going to start in like 2 weeks. And he said, "Oh, I'm watching that shit." And I was like, "What is it?" And he said, "Are you kidding me?" And they were all on Netflix. He's like, "We got to watch them before the season starts." And I think we watched all 4 seasons in 2 or 3 days.
yeah,
I
Damn.
was hooked immediately.
yeah. Mike, what about you? Do you have like did you already talk about it? Like a moment that,
I think when I actually got hooked
yeah,
was probably what I like the Tuco moment, that badass moment where he's like, I'm actually a badass, so
and that whole thing is just fucking perfect. Like the intro of that episode is like Walt saying how he wants to be the silent partner, and he's like,
Yeah.
"No more bloodshed, no more violence." And then it cuts to like the hem walking out of fucking
Yep.
Tuco's place with the
With
bag
blood
of money
coming
with
down his
blood
neck.
on it. Yeah, blood on the bag, and he's bald, and you're like, "What the fuck is happening?"
he did violent. There was violence, blood, and no sign, and a very loud noise. Like
he
all
did
three
he did
of
all
those
the things that he didn't want to do.
That's what fucking Breaking Bad did so fucking well. Is like you would get these intro sequences and like, what the fuck is happening? I have to watch this whole episode.
Yes.
their ability to do foreshadowing and like the little glimpses they give you was
Not a wasted scene.
It's being
Never.
Like, everyone is trying to copy that now, and they just can't do it as well.
Can't do it like Breaking Bad.
Listen, I don't care if they do it as well, but don't be showing me shit. At this point now that I've seen Breaking Bad, if I watch a show and it shows something, and later on I'm like, what the fuck? Wait, what about like the weird fucking cat
You
statue
better
you
have a
showed on
payoff,
the
yeah.
desk? Why did you zoom in on that? Why was that there?
Yep. Why was that in the background? It didn't serve the
Product
purpose.
placement.
Yeah, and fucking Breaking Bad has made me too like fucking like over analytical and like
Yeah.
Like, wait, with that background, that is definitely gonna come back into play. And then one other thing that I really want to talk about because I know we're running out of
Wait.
time.
Did Doug say about his?
Yeah, he said it was the whitey,
Yeah,
the
the very
tidy whiteys. God damn it,
Yeah.
He did it again.
the tidy whiteys. God damn it. And then I would say like the fucking just the bathtub scene in general is like what I was like, holy shit.
That cracked me up.
Yeah, and then Mike, your scene is like what like let me know like I was in it for the long fucking haul.
Yeah.
Like the bathtub like got me coming back, and then fucking Walt confronting Tuco. I'm like, this show's amazing.
The bathtub scene 100% made me realize this show is going to push limits.
Yeah.
because the way that disgusting piece of the body comes down and just splatters everywhere. I was like, oh, they're not going to hold back on this show. I love it.
And then the next episode, you see Walt like dumping the blood and guts down the toilet. So
Yeah.
fucking gross.
It's disgusting.
Don't be eating ketchup or anything with red sauce when you're watching that episode. Just a disclaimer.
Maybe the whole first season.
Yeah. But
Well, you know, maybe the whole series.
yeah, another thing I want to talk about, and this can be talked about on future episodes as well, but do you think there's any part in this season 1 where Walt, he might have shown glimpses? Do you think he becomes Heisenberg in season 1 at all? Like when he blows up the car, when he turns down Elliot's offer, like, do you think that's...
He showed glimpses of Heisenberg coming through.
Yeah.
I don't think he quite became Heisenberg in the first season.
I honestly feel that the attack on Tuco's office is probably the beginning.
See, I don't see that as the beginning of Heisenberg.
I don't think Heisenberg existed until a very specific moment later on that we'll get to in another
I have one too,
episode.
yeah.
Yeah, I think all up to that point, that was just Walter trying to
Doug,
be
is yours in season 3 or season 5?
3.
Okay, then it might be the same as mine.
We might all have a similar one. I have a feeling Adrian's gonna agree at this moment.
I also think it's like glimpses. I do think that smirk on Walt's face, like I said, I've never seen, he's done like reckless shit the first couple episodes, but he never seemed to actively take joy in it by his facial expressions. When you see that fucking sideways smile on his face, I'm like, oh, he's loving this.
Yeah,
Like,
he felt like the man.
Yeah, exactly. He was a man.
See, I think that's where the second personality started to build, and
I could see
become a
that.
thing.
I 100% can see why you would see
Yeah,
that.
I can see what you're saying too. I just think that was like his attempt to be what he thought he wanted.
For me,
to
it
be,
was
but
his, like Jesse says to him when he picks the junkyard to meet Tuco. This is like a guy who doesn't commit crimes' idea of a meetup
yeah.
in a junkyard.
What you wanted?
Oh, yeah.
What was the mall? Was
And
the mall
Tuco says,
closed?
"What is the mall closed?" And he just
Closed.
looks over at him.
Jesse just looks over at him.
That's why I don't think he was Heisenberg yet.
Yeah, that was just Walter doing what he thought being a badass
Exactly.
like villain.
As
kingpin
like I said,
was.
like a second personality starting to build. Like I don't think it was Heisenberg yet, but it was definitely like it didn't have a name at that point.
Well, you talked to Tuco. Heisenberg. Walter Hartwell White. I thought your name was Heisenberg, but that's season 2. No, but yeah, I also just want to give a shout out to another scene that I absolutely loved, and this was with the whole cast involved. It was on Gray Matter after Walt turns down the offer. I love that whole fucking intervention scene. It was so good. To me, it showed off that, like, although this is going to be about like Walter White, it's going to be about Jesse Pinkman, like all these fucking people can act their asses off. Everybody in that scene fucking brought it. Dean Norris played like the awkward brother-in-law. Like, you know, you just got to keep taking your shots. You know, you got to boom, boom. Anybody want to take this pillow? Like, I love how awkward he is.
He's trying to get rid of it because he's just
Yeah. He's like, all right, look at it like this, buddy. It's the bottom of the ninth, right? You got a bum arm. You know what I'm trying to say? No. It's like- and then you have like Walt Jr. tearing up and like, you're a pussy. Like, I love that. Walt Jr. legitimately tears me up there when he's like, you know what I've been through and you're scared of a little chemo?
which is ultimately why I think Walt decides to actually do it.
Yeah, more than
Yeah.
anything. I think
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Junior's speech. I don't think it was Hank's.
No.
Out of everyone that he cared for, I think he cared about Junior the most throughout the entire series.
Right, which is devastating later when
You mean Finn?
he's yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My name's
Yeah,
Flynn.
In season 1, he's Junior.
He's Junior, which is devastating later when Walt's drugged up and calls him Jesse because Jesse's kind of his son more than maybe his
Yeah.
son, but we'll talk about that later. Yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to that scene
No,
because
that wasn't Walt talking.
I say, I screwed up. Mike, do you have other than everything we've talked about, Mike, you have any final thoughts on Breaking Bad season 1?
Breaking Bad's cool.
God damn it. I set him up and he keeps knocking them down. I try to get out and they pull me back in.
Where does he come up with this stuff?
I know. Yeah, but no, I just think season 1 was the perfect setup. I do see where some people like maybe lose interest in the first season and it's just not a show for them. But I think this pacing was necessary to set up to make the show like what it eventually became.
If you don't like slow building, really like gritty movies or TV shows, then Breaking Bad's not going to be a show for you.
The show takes its fucking time to make the payoffs like all the
But
better.
it's absolutely necessary. And I hate myself so much for my first watch through, stopping after this 2 boring episodes in season 3.
We had to tell Mike.
Episode 1 and 2. And
Mike, that means you didn't get to fly your first watch through. The best and or worst episode of Breaking Bad ever.
I actually really enjoy that episode.
I do too, but we'll get there.
It's weird.
I appreciate it. I'll say that.
What Ryan Johnson did brilliantly for Fly and Ozymandias, he equally did terrible for The Last Jedi.
I disagree.
Oh, no.
That's a hard pass for me.
We'll get there.
My only regret with I guess it's not season 1, it's early season 2. I wish the role wasn't so demanding on Raymond Cruz, so we could have had more Tuco throughout season 2. But literally the actor said, like, I can't do this anymore. Like, it's taking a toll on my mentality. Like, it's making me crazy.
Why did he return for Better Call Saul then?
He's a much more tame version. He's not Tuco we know in Breaking Bad.
Yeah, he's not sitting in the desert might shoot these guys, might not any moment.
Well, no, his first scene in the desert's pretty wild. But if you watch through Better Call Saul, he's a lot calmer than
he is. I wonder if they're going to explain that.
Doug, Corey, Mike got his deep, very philosophic thoughts about Breaking Bad season 1.
My only last thought is
awesome.
Yo, are you smoking weed? Yo, is that my weed? Make yourself at home, why don't you?
I fucking love that scene.
That's my final thought.
I buy weed from him. I kind of like it.
I kind of like it.
I love his realization that he likes weed.
I kind of like it.
Can you crawl down out of my ass?
Anyway, that's my final thoughts.
If you love a slow burn with immense payoff, there's just no way to hate this season.
Yeah, and I agree with your take, Doug, that after you watch the series through and then you watch the first season again, you appreciate it so much more.
Oh, yeah. Like, you see all the things Vince Gilligan sprinkled in that you didn't the first.
God damn it. We're not giving credit to the right people tonight.
We never give Doug credit when it's his turn, but when anybody else is, we give it to Doug. I've done that before too.
The listeners know.
All right, but I don't know how to transition because we haven't talked about anything. We talked about the bathroom scenes earlier, so maybe one day I'll do the top 5 bathroom scenes in TV shows. Breaking Bad would probably have my top 3 spots.
Where will they see you do that at?
But to see some of my other reviews and rankings of not toilet scenes, you can check out my videos at Baker Reviews on YouTube.
Wait, what's that?
That's Baker Reviews on YouTube. It's not a cooking or baking show.
Oh, I'm not interested.
Yeah, I'm unsubscribed.
Yeah, if you're into video games, like watching people play them, if that's your thing, come watch me at Mike and Nostalgia over on Twitch. I have yet to have a schedule, but I stream sporadically, but pretty consistently now. So currently doing Chrono Trigger. We'll be doing Chrono Cross afterwards. I'm almost done with Chrono Trigger, so it'd be really cool. It's a fun time.
And if you want to come follow us on all the social medias, on Instagram, we're Culture Shock 21. Facebook, we're just Culture Shock Podcast. And on Twitter, we're at CS Podcast 21. Please come give us a follow and comment on all of our announcements. And I do all kinds of nerd news. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Please come subscribe and download all of our episodes wherever you get your podcasts. And please give us some good reviews, maybe some 5 stars. Leave a review. We'd like to know what you guys are thinking.
Do you want to mention the podcast for the Cure thing, or?
Yeah, we're actually going to be doing a big charity event for. It's called Livestream for the Cure. Our segment is going to be May 19th from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's a big charity event with a bunch of podcasts. We're all getting together to raise money for cancer awareness and research. It's a great cause. You can get on there. Just watching our segment is enough, but if you can donate, we would love that. Last year, they almost got $19,000, and there is a research center out there that will match whatever we donate or whatever we raise this year, and they will match us up to, I think, $50,000 or something like that. So
not just our segment, but if you can check out any of the segments, please do.
Please watch anything that you can. Donate whenever you can.
It's worth it.
It's going to be a lot of fun stuff. We're coming up with ideas now how to engage the audience. So if any of you can come, we might do something fun on film for you, something embarrassing.
All right, but that's going to do it for our Season 1 talk of Breaking Bad. If you enjoyed this, there's definitely more to come. We plan on doing a deep dive into each season. We really just want to break down each season. We badly want to do that. As Taking Back Sunday once said, we just want to break it down so badly, or something like that.
That actually was pretty good. Yeah, that's right.
All right, but from all of us at Culture Shocked, thanks for listening.
Bitch.
Wahoo.